Right, well, hello garden lovers. So yeah, we're in high summer. In fact, it's going to be a really hot day today, ridiculously hot. I don't like the heat, so I'm out here in the morning before it gets too hot, before it bleaches out. But I just want to show you the garden because it's all a bit smoke and mirrors at the moment. I've got to say, it's looking quite nice behind me. This planting is looking really lovely, I've got to say, but it's full of gaps, and all these gaps are currently being weeded and they're going to be filled with plants, and there's one plant that's not going to make it. That it's a phlox. It's beautiful, but it's a bit too demanding. And just to go completely off piste, I'm quite pleased with my echinacea because I've actually never grown echinacea well. And look at that, and the bees and butterflies are all over those, as they are the agastache as well. So that's that's what I call quite a successful bit of planting. Bird bath looking good, birds using it in the heat, which is really lovely. So this planting, look at that, that is beautiful. That's Dischamsia cespitosa gold towel. Now that is the perfect plant for that spot there, isn't it? It just veils the bird bath water feature from the house. This is from inside the living room, and see what those Dischamsia grasses do, and those Millennia, actually you can see the Millennia from here, really creating a really beautiful view through there. But it sort of stops at the woodland, which is why I want to try and open up, raise the canopy of these trees, these dense trees, so that there's some light going through there, really draw the eye through there. And yeah, this really is a picture window, and it changes all year. And then you come round, invested in some fancy garden furniture, looking quite stylish there, I've got to say. And this planting, so I just chucked in a load of seed a few months ago. This is Amymagus, bishop's weed. It's gone crazy. It's brilliant. I absolutely love it. It's just for this season, and it's flowering really well. And there's some cosmos in there. They're not getting much of a look in. It really is just a sort of temporary bit of planting. But yeah, these Millennia transparent are really looking lovely. They give a great sort of veiled foreground. They're already here. I divided them, split them up. Oh yes, I actually did a video on them, so you can see how I split them up. And I'm going to go over here down the path because it's too hot really to be doing anything at this time of year. So I guess the theme of this vid is making lists and planning ahead and thinking of all the things that I've got to do this autumn, which is a lot. I've got to import a load of topsoil. I've got to get maybe at least 10 cubes of topsoil. So these areas behind me are low on topsoil. And I'm also going to get a load of compost in. I'm deliberating over mushroom compost or something less rich, some sort of general council compost type thing. And I think I'll probably go for a 50-50 mix of that. And then here, everything is low. This whole back of the wall needs filling up with topsoil. There's other low areas in the garden. So that's what I've got to do. First thing, topsoil, bring it all in this autumn. Then I've also got to plant, which is really exciting. But as I say, it's all a bit smoke and mirrors. There are a lot of gaps. There's a lot of gaps in that planting. In fact, that area is probably about 50% planted, and there are loads of gaps everywhere. So I'm going to fill them up. I've created lists in my mind. I've created lists on my phone, and I've got pieces of paper scattered around all over the place. I'm going to put hundreds of bulbs, if not thousands of bulbs in. Then there's a whole vegetable garden, which I want to try and get Craig and Justin back. I know you're working on a big project, but can you come back this winter, chaps? Because I need you. There's a whole veggie garden area I've decided that it's going to go by the greenhouse. Round here, you haven't even hardly seen this part of the garden. There's a little greenhouse I've got, so it's perfect. And it does get plenty of sun here. So that's the bay tree behind that I pruned up just to get a bit of orientation. I'm going to go into it in a lot more detail. The greenhouse is a complete mess at the moment. We're going in, but this is going to all be cleaned out. Cass got her chili plants growing, doing really well. I'm going to have to take some plants out the other side, and then I'm also going to have a cold frame, so this becomes sort of the working part of the garden. That's another autumn/winter project. Oh, lost you there. This cornice, the famous cornice, is looking beautiful. It's made me start to think about the plants that I'm going to put in, because I know that I want to put at least 3 trees into this area, one for shade that I desperately need. And I was thinking cornice, multi-stem cornice, because they do really well here. And now I'm thinking, well, the foliage goes a bit droopy in the summer, and I've got a lovely cornice, maybe don't overdo it. So now I'm thinking maybe crabapple. Saw some lovely multi-stem Malus Everest the other day, so I'm starting to think maybe that's the way to go. And now I'm moving into the woodland area, and it's lovely and cool, bit of shade. So I've kept my paths mown all the way round. I'm letting the orchids seed before I do anything. Here we go, look at that, that's the orchids. I actually split one of these open the other day. They're not ripe yet, but it's interesting, they are full of thousands of dust-like seed. So I'm going to let them really dry out and do their thing. And then this whole woodland area, I'm going to cut back and I'm going to take it away. Some people have cut back already, I guess, but because of the orchids, I want to leave it as long as possible. So this, I don't know, maybe September. I'm going to cut this all down and I'm going to take it all away to try and reduce the fertility of the soil. I talked about that earlier. And then I'm also going to sow a little bit more yellow rattle in this area, because some of the grasses are, getting a little bit boisterous. But I'm very happy with the orchid display, gotta say. After a mild panic that I killed them all, I haven't. They're all doing really well. There's also, in this area, I'm going to get George and the tree surgeons back for quite a day or two's work. So behind me, there's a beautiful view across the fields here. And this hedge I sort of started on, and I'm going to open out that view. That hedge needs some dealing with, as do the trees. So I've got this wonderful beech. I want to lift this canopy. The lower limbs are really too low, so I'm not getting views out onto the fields. And I've got permission to take the dead wood out of one of the big oaks. Here is really dense behind me, so I want to take some of this lower stuff out. And while we're doing the tree surgery stuff, let's keep going, shall we? We're right down the end of the garden now, and behind me, brambles, they got to come out. There's an elder that's really taken over, because there's a beautiful rose in here that's getting absolutely smothered, so that's got to go. So I've got this wonderful hawthorn, so I want to reduce this either side, tidy it up a little bit, but try and keep cover from that telegraph pole, which the National Grid decided to put more, in my view, when they moved it. And I've also got these apples, which are absolutely smothered with apples. I haven't done anything. There's way too many apples on here, but these are a little bit thickety because they used to be pruned meticulously, and I'm not going to do that. I need to work out a way where I get some more light and air into them, and maybe lose some cropping for the first year or two, which is fine by me, because there's only so many apples you can eat, or juice, I guess. Might do a little bit of pruning on the magnolia. Oh, while I'm here, come on then. So I've decided to tackle this winter flowering viburnum right now. yeah, as a bit of a bridge, a bit of information maybe coming across. I wouldn't normally prune at this time of year, but this winter flowering viburnum, it flowers on all of this year's growth, and it'll flower around sort of January sometime, January into February, clusters of light pink flowers, deliciously scented, one of the best fragrance ever, but all the flowers are right up there. I can't smell them, so I want to get them back down near my nose level. And then it also has a lovely autumn colour too, but it's grown so tall. But I know that it will flower next year, and if you prune it in the winter, obviously you're going to lose a lot of flowers, and so this seems like a good time of year to prune. I wouldn't normally prune too much stuff, especially in this heat, but there you go, I think it'll be absolutely fine. And also it is shading out this Philadelphus next to it a little bit, so that will appreciate a little bit more light, and also my views out onto the hill, this is sort of slightly getting in the way, and it doesn't have to, because it's not meant to be a really tall shrub like that, and I can periodically prune it if I have to. Anyway, my arm is really aching now, so I'm going to put this on the stand. How professional. Oh, there you go. That's quite a nice composition, isn't it? I've been working on my composition. You know, every effort goes into the making of these videos. Okay, so we've got these pretty chunky stems, these really quite thick stems that are going up. One of them's going up, I'm reckoning, about over 4 meters, and there's a few of those. And a plant like this, well, it's obviously multi-stemmed, it's bushy, and it needs reinvigorating, rejuvenating every now and then to produce more flowers and sort of keep it to its allotted size and just keep it looking nice and fresh. I mean, this stem has got nothing on it up until at least 3 meters tall. There's, you know, so there's nothing going on, and I want the flowers down here. So I'm literally going to take all the big ones out for starters, see where we are. Now I'm going to do one of those time-lapse things, because we like those time-lapse when it speeds everything up a little bit, and also hopefully it means you won't notice that I'm in shorts too much, because the last time I wore shorts on the television was about 20 years ago, and Charlie Dimmock took the piss out of me so much that I looked like a schoolboy that I haven't worn them since. So no comments on that, please. So there you go, I've done it. Now what's interesting is there were some rotten pieces inside, completely rotten, and quite a lot of ivy growing through it. There's still quite a bit of ivy growing through it, but frankly it's just too hot. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning, it's absolutely boiling, so I'm not going to keep working. I'm going to come back later and clear out the ivy. But also, yeah, there's a bit of rotten wood, and I'm not sure if there was a tree next to it, or whether it's all part of the same plant, and that it's just rejuvenating itself, which plants tend to do. And so, yeah, I'm going to clear this ivy out and have a good look underneath when it's cooled down, but I'm quite pleased with it. So all this year's suckering growth here, I've left, well, as tall as it was, as it naturally grew, and some of these I've taken a bit lower down, some of these thicker stems, and ones that have got plenty of life in them, so they're either budding out now, or I can tell they were green because I had lots of green growth on top, and I've pruned them back to a bud, and ideally an outward facing bud, so it sort of opens out in a nice vase shape rather than growing in on itself. And yeah, I use that saw, and I also use these power secateurs that I'm using more and more of to get through some of the thicker branches. I really like those. And I've got lots of arisings, which I don't know if it's a gardening or landscaping term particularly. If you put it on a quote, remove arisings, a client will always go, what does that mean? And all it means is all the stuff that you've cut off, you're taking it away. I will chip it because it'll make really good mulch. But that's what arisings are. Anyway, that's enough of the viburnum pruning interlude. Back to the main video. Where are we going next? This is, I shouldn't really be showing you this. This is what I would call the sort of out of control area. Been left, and it's dry and neglected. It's the stock beds, and I'll move that shed. I've got to move that shed. Maybe a Wendy house for the granddaughter would be lovely. So yeah, right round here, we've got all these veggie beds that are full of plants and weeds. Yes, I do have weeds, agapanthus. This is Cass rabbit proofing fencing. She's got a few herbs in there. These are the hornbeam whips, which might be looking a bit sad, but they are alive. I've got to get them through to autumn, and then I'm going to be planting some more tumps with them. Pears are unbelievable. We didn't have any pears last year, and this old pear tree is covered in them, absolutely covered. Let's go a bit tumpy. Let's look at the tumpy bit. So yeah, people don't really understand my tumps. I've had like, why would you want to do that? This one's the most defined because it hasn't got any other planting around it, but I think this autumn it'll go a lovely colour. I may as well show you what I'm trying to achieve from the other view. So here you can see the hill beyond. There's only a certain amount of hawthorn I can take off out of focus finger, but that bit there without revealing too much of the telegraph pole. Then we've got the tump coming in here. So I want to try and create those sort of soft mounds. So I'm very much working with the wider view here. Nothing too flowery, nothing too colourful going on. It's going to be very naturalistic. Obviously seasonal changes quite a lot, but yeah. If you look really closely, you just see a lot of weeds, but I really love this view. And then the other view. We're back to where we started, so it's a nice little round trip. Massive lists: compost, soil, plants, bulbs, trees, veggie patch, completely rebuilding the veggie patch, building up soil levels to meet the paving where it's a little bit low. My list of plants is getting longer and longer. You know, must-haves, wish list, essentials, signature plants, all that sort of thing. And that's the exciting bit, but I've got a lot of work coming up. But this time of year, I think it's time to just enjoy it, be outdoors, not get too hot, plan ahead, make a video. Oh, while I'm here, come on, let's give a bit of a plug to James, Alexander Sinclair and I are still doing our podcast, and it's going quite well. We're getting some quite interesting feedback, and you can send in questions and we won't guarantee to answer them. But if we do, you might become a Scribe Hound legend and actually win a creepy little green gnome. So we are Scribe Hound Podcast, and the email, if you want to send in questions, is gardening@scribehound.com. Took me a couple of months to learn that one off pat. So yeah, have a listen. It's just James and I having a bit of fun, picking up a subject each week and sort of running with it. And was there anything else I wanted to plug? No, I don't think. I think that's about it. Anyway, listen, have a great summer. If you're going on holidays, have a great summer holiday. If you're staying at home, have a wonderful staycation and enjoy your garden. I think that's enough rambling. Au revoir. And one last thing, all the jobs that I talked about doing this autumn, this winter, I am going to try and film them. I'm going to try and be more organised about Joe's country garden, a bit more regular with my output. I'm going to try anyway. Thanks for watching.